I've made 2 cards for the book lovers out there using some add-on products from HoneyBee Stamps Chapter and Charm Card Kit. Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome to my channel. Let me just show you the card kit really quick. This is not something I used today, but you have your layering guides, of course. You've got this fantastic book die here. There is some Deco foil and the Deco foil liquid glue. You have a coordinating stencil to that die, some foam squares, well, they're actually octagons, some fun pattern paper, 2 sheets of white cardstock, and you do get a stamp sentiment and a coordinating die. I do not have the stamp sentiment with me right now. It just didn't get sent to me, but it's on its way. So, and then here are some add-on products, and I'll show you which ones I'm going to be using. You have some layering guides. There's this fantastic book here. This is the one that I'm going to be using. This is the the Lovely Layers Stacked Stories and the coordinating stencil. So again, here's what I'm going to be using. So I am starting with scrapbook.com's Cotton Grass, which is the Swiss Dot Cotton Grass cardstock. I just wanted more texture on my book. So I did that. I die cut that twice. And I am going to be using the stencils. So for my first card, I wanted it to feel a bit more masculine. So I am using Iced Spruce Distress Oxide ink. And so you have 2 stencils that color your books, and then you have where you can color like the labels on the books. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm using my Grip Mate here. And so it's really, really, really easy to stencil. Now also in this die set here, there is a die that looks like you're looking at the pages of the book instead of the spine of the book. And so I'm going to add that to one of these cards here. I just think this is such a fun and cute add-on die set. So again, there is that kit that I shared at the beginning. I'm not using any of that, but I wanted to share that with you because it's still available right now as of voicing over. I will be putting this video out today, and the add-on products are also available. So if you want to check those out, you can. I do have everything listed and linked for you guys below in the description. I do have affiliate links, but it costs you guys nothing to use. So if you use them, thank you, because that does support me and my channel, because this is my work. And so then it helps me to be able to continue to make more and more videos. For the second card, I am using Speckled Egg, Tattered Rose, Victorian Velvet, Bundled Sage, and Shabby Shutters. Now, of course, we're ink blending on colored cardstock, so it's going to change the color a little bit, but I don't mind. I really love the dots on these books. You still see the etched designs from the dies, but then you also have those polka dots, and there's something about that to me that just was so pretty. I do use some paper. I think I said I didn't use the kit. That's untrue. I used a couple things from the kit. I used one of the pattern papers from the kit, and I also used the foil, the Deco foil, and the glue or the adhesive glue for the foil. I did use that. I also have another video that just came out on HoneyBee Stamps YouTube channel today that I'm sharing the kit with. I made a card from the kit itself. So if you want to get both cards with different, products, definitely check out HoneyBee Stamps video. I will try to remember to link that below in the description, but if not, you can just go to HoneyBee Stamps YouTube channel and you will find it there. Okay, so there is our second little stack of books, and I was deciding, what color do I want to color the labels. I'm actually going to use Antique Linen, because it's closest to the Cotton Grass, even though it's going to look a little bit different because I'm going over the other color, but it still makes it stand out just a little bit. So I'm going to use that part of the stencil. In this Lovely Layers Stacked Stories, there is an inkwell. Oh, here's the pages. I die cut out just one set of these. So these, you can adhere these to the books to look like you're seeing the pages. Then you have this Darling Feather. I am taking the Deco foil glue just outlining it, adding it in some of the areas. You have to let this dry completely, and then you can use the foil. But then you have the feathers, there's an inkwell, there is, it looks like a rose to me, and some little bookmarks. There's also like, to me it kind of looks like a leather tie with a knot and a ribbon that you can tie around your book. So we're going to be using that as well. So I'm just tracing some of the elements here with that glue that I want to add some of that gold foil to. I don't want everything to be bright and shiny, but I love the gold, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun to add to this. Again, let it dry completely before you put your foil on it. So I kind of followed the labels on this one. The other book that feels, or books that feel a little more masculine, I am just going to do the outside edges of 3 of the books, because 2 of them I'm going to have where you're looking at the pages of the book and not the spine of the book. Also, these are going to be going in different orientations. So really a versatile die, and just so cute. Okay, so I did that on the feathers here. It's completely dry. So I'm just going to rub that gold foil on. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Let's do the same for the book. Again, everything is nice and dry. Just going to press down and give it a good rub. And when you lift it off, you've got this gorgeous foil. Not all of it turned out perfect because it's just the way I put the glue on. It didn't bother me. I actually liked it. To me, it made it feel like the books were a bit older and maybe some of that gold foil was coming off. So I actually did not mind that look. But if that bothers you, just really make sure you put your glue on nice and even. Take your time, and then you should get a good solid image. I die cut 2 of the roses here. I used Chiffon and Blush along with it's called Aquatint. It's from scrapbook.com. It's a canvas cardstock, but you can flip it over and it has less texture on one side and more texture on the other. That's what I did for the leaves. And I'm just alternating the flowers between the dark and light because I die cut everything twice. So we're going to have 2 of these gorgeous roses. I've also die cut from HoneyBee Stamps a couple of the Barnwood Planks dies from Acorn Cardstock because I want to use that as a table and a shelf. Here are some of the darling bookmarks that I die cut from Chiffon Cardstock from Spellbinders, and I'm just going to place these in here, and I'm going to place one on the other stack of books as well, and that is just from that Cotton Grass cardstock. On a piece of white A2 size cardstock, I am just very lightly using Speckled Egg and Simon Hurley's blender brushes, the small one. And I am just doing a light ink blending, and I actually did not want it to be even. To me, this is gonna be our background. I'm gonna run it through a die cut machine with the Burlap 3D embossing folder from HoneyBee Stamps. And I want this to be like the wallpaper on the background, and I didn't want it to be perfect. So I did some really tiny splatter on there with that Speckled Egg, and I ran that through the die cut machine. Now my husband is really cute. He goes, I think you should take some of that glue and add some dots all over the background and then add the foil to it. So I'm going to take his advice and I'm going to add that to this background. So I'm going to put that aside to dry. We don't need to start on that yet. I can work on other things, and then we'll come back to that once those little dots dry, which will be really quick. A little bit of Victorian velvet around the edges of these roses just to add a little something extra. Nothing crazy, just a little bit. Let's put this first card together. Look at this pattern paper again. This is from the kit. So cute. It comes in A2 size sheets, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I am using 1mm foam adhesive. Here is that wood plank die that I was talking about using Acorn cardstock. So it gives you all that gorgeous texture. So this card to me is going to be the table that these books are on. Now I'm adding the pages of 2 of the books. So you could look at the spine or you could cover it up. So we're going to do this one differently. And this one is going to be stacked on its side instead of standing up. So I need 2mm foam adhesive to go behind this because it's going to be sitting on the desk or a table. That's kind of how I have this envisioned. And that's some gorgeous wallpaper on the background. Maybe this is in their beautiful library. I love it. And then here is that little tie that I have die cut from truffle cardstock. To me, it just felt like I wanted it to look like a leather strap, like a small piece of leather that they use to tie these books. Then you have a magnifying glass. I did forget to mention this. This was the other thing in that Lovely Layers Stacked Stories die set. And the stencil, I think I forgot to mention what that was called. That was called the Story Labels Stencil. How cute is that? So I thought I'm going to put the inkwell on top of the stack of books, and look at that feather. Oh my gosh, that feather is die cut from the Cotton Grass Swiss Dot cardstock from Spellbinders. I need to scooch this down just a tiny bit more because that feather is going to be at the top. Now remember, again, I do not have the sentiments yet, but when I do, I'm going to show you where I'm going to place the sentiments. I did have the dies, so I knew I could fit a sentiment here at the top right and on the other card at the bottom, and they're all book related, so they're going to be fabulous. They're going to fit, and that comes in the kit. So if you want to get that sentiment, that sentiment stamp and die and everything else, you have to get the kit. Again, this here is the add-on product. The Lovely Layers Stacked Stories and the Story Labels Stencil are add-on products to the kit. Look at how cute that is. Oh my goodness. I'm going to add one more little piece here. This is 2mm foam adhesive. I did 1mm behind the inkwell and the feather pin because I want it to look like it was further back sitting on top of the book. Okay, let's add our foil to those little dots on the background. I think on this it worked better when I pressed it down because it has the texture, so rubbing didn't really work. So now we have some of that fun little foil dots on the background. I think it turns out so fun. I love it. Let's add our shelf. So this set of books is going to be on a shelf instead of a table. So 1mm foam adhesive. These books will be standing upright. I'm going to add 2mm foam adhesive, and I'm lining this up so the sentiment can go on the bottom underneath the shelf. How cute would this be if you had some of these books hanging off the right, standing upright, and then did some on the left-hand side, stacked on their side, and kind of having that together? It would look like a real full library shelf, and that would be really cute too. So this feather is die cut from Chiffon cardstock. It's such a nice little light kind of corally pink. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I'm going to use the same brown leather tie, that I say leather, around these books as well. So you see it can go in two different orientations. And I'm actually going to offset this a little bit to the right, just so it has a little something different. So let me get that in place. You have a few pieces here. You have a little tiny piece that goes on that looks like it's been tied in a knot. And then we've got these roses here. And again, I will use the sentiments once they come, but I couldn't wait because I did not want this to sell out before you guys had an opportunity to try to grab it, because it is darling. Oh my gosh, this is so perfect for all the book lovers out there. My daughter loved books so much and she loved to write, and she would absolutely have loved these cards. Okay, so this is where the sentiment goes down here, and up there is where that sentiment is going to go. But let's take a look at these finished cards here up close. I love this. Look at all that fun foil, those cute books, the stenciling, all the dies that go with it, just to kind of finish out the scene. I think is so cute. And here's one that feels a little more masculine. So I love these cards. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed these projects. I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you guys have a really amazing day. Bye, and I'll see you soon.